For the purposes of this video, we are using a manufactured home. As a firefighter, I know too well that all homes burn. 80% of the people that die in this nation die in the safety of their own home. Smoke alarms were a very important first step. However, more must be done. Residential sprinklers are the next logical step forward.
A production of South Carolina ETV. This program is made possible in part by funding from the United States Fire Administration.
No matter where you live, no matter what the price of your home, the threat of fire is a real one. The use of smoke detectors has dramatically reduced the numbers of deaths from fire. But still, all too many people die. And what about the property damage, the economic cost, and the personal loss? As the price of homes goes up, for more and more Americans, the need for affordable housing has dictated the choice of manufactured homes. For firefighters, that has presented some problems. In urban areas, they've traditionally been placed on smaller lots, crowded together, increasing the risk that when fire strikes, it may spread from one home to another. In some other urban areas, manufactured housing has been restricted and zoning regulations have limited its use, encouraging the rising numbers of manufactured homes in the countryside. Here, they are often unprotected by nearby fire departments or city water supplies. In all, about 25% of all new housing is manufactured housing, and figures from the National Manufactured Housing Institute show us that the number of people making manufactured housing their choice is rising steadily. But this change in residential housing patterns actually offers us an opportunity to increase the safety to our citizens, to decrease the loss of life from fire. Now, that statement may startle you. First, because of the firefighting problems we just enumerated, and second, because people's perceptions of manufactured housing, especially when we talk about fire, have not been particularly positive. People believe that manufactured homes burn easily and completely. This in spite of the fact that since 1974, much of the construction material included in these homes is federally regulated and fire retardant. So why do people believe this? Because much of the furniture, carpets, and drapery that go into manufactured homes is highly flammable. When furnishings and contents ignite, they often produce thick smoke and burn so fiercely that they involve the entire home. This, of course, is true of all homes. Fortunately, this sprinkler offers us the opportunity to save lives and protect our homes. This is a low-volume sprinkler head. It can stop fires in a residential setting before they get out of hand. It can provide a little water just in time.
The U.S. Fire Administration is the federal focus on fire prevention across the country, and our objective as a federal agency is to do the research and development and provide the technical assistance and information to state and local fire services to help them do their job. We still have close to 6,000 fire deaths a year in the United States, and somewhere between 85 to 90% of those fire deaths are occurring in residential occupancies, and most of those are in the typical 1- and 2-family residences across the country. So we have a very serious life safety fire problem in the United States. The problem is the 6,000 has kind of leveled off for the last 4 or 5 years, and the concern now is unless we break through with new technologies and approaches, we're not going to be able to bring that down to much lower levels. In residential occupancies, you want to get to the fire as quick as you can and control the fire until the fire department can get there. So let's say even the best fire department in the world is going to take 5, 6, 7 minutes to get to an occupancy once they've been called. In the interim, if you don't have that sprinkler system working, anyone who is in that structure could be fatally affected before the fire department gets there. So this is the real breakthrough here, is the ability to be able to get the fire and get it under control quicker until the fire service can arrive and the people can escape the environment.
When we look at the life safety situation as it relates to fire in America, and we study the historical fire death record in residential properties where someone has died, we find out that 5 minutes represents about the time to survive the ignition scenario. So if we don't intervene in less than that, we're not going to save the life. We may extinguish the fire but not save the life. If we take the aggregate or elapsed time of someone discovering the fire, notifying the fire department, and then their response time, it is virtually impossible for the best fire department in America to get to the scene in time to save the life. So we need to put something in the compartment or room of origin of the fire that's going to extinguish that fire.
Most of us don't understand just how quickly a fire can consume your home. To put this in perspective, we talked to the victim of a recent fire.
Well, when I got there, I beat the engines there. I rounded them. And me and my friend, when I got there, we rounded the corner, and 80% of the mobile home was done on the ground. And there was still one back bedroom section, which was the master bathroom, which had the walls haven't fell in on it yet. But other than that, the whole roof had done fell in on the rest of the trailer.
Okay, you've heard us say that low-volume sprinklers can make a difference. But we don't expect you to take our word for it. We want to show you how they work. During the week of October 19th, 1992, a manufactured home was equipped with a low-volume sprinkler system. Technical expertise was provided by Underwriters Laboratory and Factory Mutual Insurance Company. Here you see the interior of home number 1. Monitoring devices in each of the rooms recorded temperature, carbon dioxide, and oxygen levels at multiple points. This data was captured by a computer. During the course of several days, fires were set in the kitchen, living room, and bedroom of the sprinkler-equipped home. And on the final day, fires were set in the sprinklered and in a non-sprinklered manufactured home so that observers could compare the results. Let's take a few minutes and look at each of those fires. First, in a sprinkler-equipped home, a bedroom fire.
The fires were started in a uniform manner. Here, the carpet and bedspread are providing the initial fuel. At 36 seconds into the burn, the smoke detector activates. At this time, the fire's size presents little danger, and any occupants should be able to evacuate safely. At 3 minutes into the burn, the fire has involved the blanket and possibly some of the inner spring frame. Smoke is now darker and thicker, but visibility remains about 90%. At 5 minutes into the burn, the mattress has ignited. Smoke is much heavier, and at approximately 5 minutes 8 seconds, temperature at the sprinkler head reaches 180 degrees. The sprinkler activates. The effect is immediate. Steam fills the room. All visible flames are knocked down by roughly 5.5 minutes. Here is a brief look at the damage. As you can see, the mattress is scorched and burned, but there is little or no structural damage to the home. The results of water and smoke are clearly evident, but the home is saved.
Now let's look at the second demonstration. Here the fire is started in the kitchen.
Kitchens are designed to minimize fire risk. Yet even here we tend to import combustible materials and create situations where fires can start and spread. Here you see paper towels, canisters, a spice rack much too close to the stove, a dish towel, a cookbook, and a variety of other flammables. We've placed them well back under the cabinets to present a significant challenge to the sprinkler system. At 3 minutes into the burn, the fire has virtually gone out. The countertop is, of course, fire-resistant, and the metal stove offers no fuel. Yet with the variety of potential fuel sources we've provided, for the fire to extinguish itself is probably too much to hope for. Indeed, 8 minutes into the burn, the fire begins to spread. It appears the cookbook is now involved and providing fuel. At roughly 13 minutes into the burn, the fire suddenly intensifies. The paper towels ignite. The underside of the cabinets are burning, and almost simultaneously, the sprinkler goes off. Protected by the cabinets, the fire is more difficult for the sprinkler to control. However, as we watch, the sprinkler once again demonstrates its value, slowly bringing the fire under control.
Now let's look at example number 3. This is a living room fire.
Here, the fire is placed in a sofa behind a pillow which will partially protect the flame from the sprinkler system. Almost immediately, the fire shows signs of intensifying. At only 1 minute into the burn, the fire already extends above the back of the couch. A hot fire, it is interesting that the fire-resistant paneling is resisting ignition. At approximately 1 minute 50 seconds, the sprinkler activates. With nothing except the cushion to interfere with the water hitting the fire, the sprinkler quickly cools even this very flammable material, knocking the fire down. At roughly 2 minutes 40 seconds into the burn, the fire appears under control. Once again, it should be stressed that the water will continue to be applied for 10 minutes or until cut off by responding firefighters. And here we see firefighters who have entered the home shortly after the fire.
And now in our final example, once again, we're in the living room. But in this instance, we will show one home equipped with low-volume sprinkler heads and one without.
First, let's look at the sprinklered home. Here, the fire is ignited just as before. To validate what you've been seeing, we are doing the same test a second time. We've attempted to keep everything as similar as possible. The fire grows rapidly. The fabric and padding of the sofa provides fuel. At only 1 minute 15 seconds, the sprinkler goes off. Once again, the fire is driven down. With the 100-gallon tank and one head operating, we will deliver a continuous application of 10 gallons per minute for 10 minutes. Here is a brief look at the damage. In our final fire, we utilize the same home but disable the sprinkler system. As in each of the 2 previous examples, ignition happens quickly, placed in the corner of the couch. Our fire department will respond in 10 minutes. Smoke begins to obscure our view at about 1.5 minutes, roughly the point where the sprinkler activated in the previous 2 tests. At 2.5 minutes, we have an intense fire. Smoke largely obscures our view. Shortly, our cameras will have to retreat out of harm's way. At roughly 4 minutes, the glass in the windows begins to shatter. Smoke begins pouring out. In many instances, this is the first external sign of fire. If no one is home, we would only now begin to have some hope that the fire would be reported. As we have planned, at 10 minutes, our firefighters respond. They quickly run a line. They prepare to enter the home, and upon entering, apply water. The firefighting is fast, efficient, and effective. But as you can see, significant damage has been done. And here are the results.
The limited water supply system that we have developed was intended to be installed without the need of special technicians or special equipment to complete the installation. It is felt that the average homeowner would be able to install the system and to verify that it was operating properly. As part of our project for the United States Fire Administration, we did conduct a cost analysis of the self-contained water supply system. Our estimate is that the system should cost approximately $525. For production quantities greater than 100,000, the production cost should even decrease further from that value. If there is a fire, only the sprinklers that are heated above their actuation temperature would operate.